let me just.
Yeah, bring your head up. Ah, there you
Right.
go.
All
Super,
right.
super,
Right.
super. We are here and we
Okay.
are live once more. It is about track and field, track and field. Welcome, each and everyone. Welcome. Welcome, Ozzy. Welcome to track and field fans around the world.
Thank
Welcome to
you.
those who will be joining us on the live. Welcome to those who will be listening or just watching. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Ozzy, what
Yes,
a
ma'am.
week. What a week of track and field we've had. Well, a little over a week, but what a week.
Um. Yes, it was a good one. 9 days, I think it was. Was it
Yes, 9 days to be
9 days?
exact. Yeah.
And I hope next time they make it 10 days. But anyway,
Yes, it
um,
was it
it
was
it
electrifying. Yeah.
yeah, it
Mhm.
was it was some very good performances, some drama, some well,
A little of
it's
everything,
a,
and
a little of everything.
yeah, and we
Yes.
will be getting into this recap. We will be looking at at least five areas. We will be looking at some standout performances, especially from Jamaica. We'll be looking, of course, at some of the heartbreaks, some of the misfortunes that we've seen on the track, on and off the track.
That,
Also, we'll be looking at some changes that I observe by the organizers. And
mhm.
another area that we'll be looking at is Jamaica's strength on the medal table. And of
Okay.
course, to close off, we're going to look at some fundamentals of sport management or management in general. So, Ozzy,
Sounds
get
good.
let's get the ball rolling. Let's get going. What is your first outstanding moment of the championship?
Wow. Yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, I know that there are many because I
Yeah.
can start. All right, let's start with the women's 100-meter hurdles.
Well, in fact,
Daniel,
that's where I was gonna start.
there you go. There you go. There you
Uh,
go. Hi,
right.
Xavian. Hi, Xavian. Welcome. Welcome.
And the reason why I would have started there is because for me it was a little bit of a surprise. Um, I to be fair, I thought that going into the championship, I thought that we could have had at least two of the ladies in the final. I didn't believe all three would have
Which
made it.
we did. Which we did.
Right. As to which two, I wasn't sure, but we achieved that. The two ladies making it. At before the final, I knew that any of could medal. I'll be honest with you, I was not looking for a gold, but I was hoping for at least a medal. I know
When
it
you
would have.
look when you look at the competition, when you
Mhm.
look at the field, the Olympic champion was there, Camacho Queen.
Mhm.
The world champion
Champion
was
last, right?
there, Toby,
Mhm.
and of course the outstanding
Then,
Kendra Harrison
exactly.
from the United States. So when
So,
you look at that
right,
lineup, and Daniel won 8 years ago,
right.
and what she did, to me, that was my bonus medal.
Yeah,
That
I agree.
gold
Yes,
medal
it
was
was.
my bonus medal.
It was.
Because I'm going to be honest on air, I did not see us winning gold because of the level
Right.
of competition that was there. And this is the beauty about um competition. You
Yeah,
cannot rule out anyone because people will turn up on the day and perform.
exactly, exactly,
And
and
Daniel Williams did just that.
exactly, and it's in track and field, and particular major championship. It's not what you do yesterday or last week or last year. It's what you do on the day,
And I'm
or
glad I'm glad you said
with
that.
within the 13 seconds.
I'm glad that you
Right.
said that because that same comment is going to come back when we look at the last event before we get into. And I
Okay.
deliberately leave that event for the last one to take us into
Okay.
the next session. But you're right; it is what you do on the day and what you
Mhm.
do in your event
Event.
on
Right.
the day.
Exactly.
The
Exactly.
The next event for me, the next outstanding performance for me by Jamaica was young Antonio Watson.
Yes.
You and I had a discussion with Antonio Watson. When was it? Was it late last year? Earlier this year, you and I had a
Mm.
discussion about this young man. I don't know if you
Mhm.
remember. Your thoughts on Antonio Watson?
Um, Going into the championships, I told a couple of colleagues that I felt he was going to do well. As to what doing well meant, that was sort of I left it up in the air. I felt he would have PR again, but I knew I thought getting a medal would have been very difficult. Um, so I won't say that I had predicted him getting a medal or even winning, but I just felt he would have represented well and done well.
Well,
And that.
I am going to tell you something now.
Mhm,
I had said any mistake made,
mhm,
Antonio Watson would have come very, 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 very
mhm,
close.
mhm,
And when
mhm.
I watched Antonio Watson in that 400-meter final, I was looking at Antonio Watson. He won that race the same way he won at the World Youth.
Under 17, or under
Yes,
18, right?
or
Exactly.
under 20, right? He
Yes,
won it the
yes.
same way. He came from
Um, yeah.
behind because the commentator, if you were listening, the commentator was already saying Great Britain will be winning a gold medal in this event for the first time. And then the
Ah,
commentator said, and here come Watson.
okay. I probably
So,
wasn't listening to him. I was more
yes,
focused on watching Watson.
I was listening. When they came off the turn, Great Britain was leading, and the commentator
Yeah.
said,
Hudson
Great
Smith.
Britain, yes.
Mm,
And then on the straightaway, he said, and here come Watson. So
yeah.
I have been watching Antonio Watson right through his career at high school, and I
Yeah.
knew that he was a promising one. And
Hmm.
Antonio Watson, we can say he walked out of high school and walked right into big man thing, and he
Yeah.
delivered.
Yeah.
He delivered.
He did indeed. Indeed.
He
Yes.
did. He did. He was in high school just
two, ye-
2021.
2 years ago. Right.
Yes,
Yes. Yes.
2021 he was in high school. So
Hmm.
he's one of them that we can say transition
Sean.
nicely. He
Yeah.
transitioned nicely. Next performance for me, Rashawn
Clark.
Clark. I'm going to give
Yes.
you that one.
Yeah. Okay. Uh, Breaking his own world junior under 20 record that he shared. Is a hell of a performance. I felt he would have done well again. I wasn't sure about breaking the world junior record. Well, by that amount, um, just because of the rounds, and the fact that he may have to conserve and all this other thing. And I was hoping that it would have happened, or his best performance would have happened in the final. Unfortunately, it didn't. But 19 years old, and he has stepped up another one too, just out of high school 2 years
Big,
ago.
big, big
Right.
performance.
Or
Big
last year, right?
performance
Last year he
from
was in high school. Last year,
Rashawn Clark was in
right?
high school last year. So
Last year, right?
he is another one that
Still a
we can
junior.
say transition
Sure.
nice.
Yes.
How often do we see this? Not very
Not
often.
no, not very, not
Not
very,
very often.
not very.
And what Rashawn Clark did, he for me, I'm going to tell you, for me, he was my top pick for as a Jamaican at the championship. You know why?
Mm.
He's only 19. He was supposed to be in high school this
Yeah,
year.
yeah,
He
right.
was
Yes.
supposed to be in school this year.
Mm-hmm.
And he erased Winthrop Graham
Um,
totally
that national
from
record that has
the
stood for
record, yeah, the
so many
record
years,
book.
so many years.
Totally. The
In
world junior, national senior, national junior,
record, right?
outstanding,
Standing,
outstanding,
exactly, exactly.
outstanding. And even though he did not get on the medal podium, um, he did not get on the medal podium. He did an outstanding job. And I personally think he and Watson will only get better from here. Latoya, no, sorry, not Latoya, Xavier on the chat, he's also talking about Akira Nugent. She is another young one
Oh yes,
that
I'm making the final. Right.
they are
Yeah.
just
two
they're
two
this
years
is
out of
some
2 years out of high school. Right.
this is something that we don't see every day, and
No.
I like what I am seeing, and it is not just happening with our young ladies, but it is happening with the
Wow.
boys, and
Wow.
that what I like to see, because the girls tend to transition faster than the
And the
boys or
boys.
quicker than
Yeah.
the boys. But to see two young men who were just in high school less than 2 years, and this is what they're doing, it is remarkable,
Remarkable.
remarkable, and this is a big achievement
Then
for Jamaica, and we should continue to develop
exactly.
these young people. And the beauty about it is that they train at home.
Ah yes.
Training at home
Yes.
is becoming
Hmm.
the best thing ever for Jamaica track and
Mm.
field.
Um, I have some mixed views on that, but
I
anyway.
know, but
No,
when you look at our medalists,
yeah,
when
yeah.
you look at our medalists over the
Right.
last 10 years, the
Yes.
majority of our medalists
Hmm.
are coached at home.
Yeah, and I'm all for it, and
Yes.
I mean, I can't deny the successes and all that, but just to say that I don't think that staying at home is necessarily the best thing for everyone.
No, it doesn't
Of
work for
course,
everyone.
yeah,
No,
no,
no.
each individual have to look at
Yeah.
their own
Mm-hmm.
circumstances, their
Mm-hmm.
goals, what have to, and sometimes even to find the right fit
Yes,
with
the
with,
right
with
fit.
coaching,
Oh,
with coaching, with
that
coaching,
is
because
one of my favorite expression, finding
right,
the right fit. Yeah.
because although the best coach is sometimes not necessarily the right fit for a particular athlete, so
Yeah.
just that's kind of why I said what I said.
Yeah.
Mixed views about,
Yeah.
but yeah,
Another
yeah, yeah,
another
they are doing.
outstanding performance. Sharika lowering the national record and setting a new championship record 2 years in a row, two championships in a row.
Yes,
Outstanding.
right, yes, 21.41, second fastest time ever. I mean, what else? I mean, we can use all the superlatives to describe that run. It was,
Outstanding.
well, the thing is, um, most of us we sort of expected it,
Yeah, no
but
surprises there. No
right. No real
surprises there.
surprises,
No.
and there was some anticipation as to whether she would get the world record or
Yes,
even get
and yeah,
closer.
she's going
But
after the record. And
but
I think if she get the good win, I think if she
mm,
get the legal win 2.0 on a perfect day, on a good day, I think she can come very close.
personally, I think she can come close even without all that. And the reason I say that is after the 200, her comments were that she felt very tired just because of that. So there might have been a little bit of fatigue and all that. I mean, coming in. So I think yes. I mean, all of what you said, would definitely help. But I think she can do it without all of those things. I think she's just that good enough with the proper rest. Probably the right field assembled. Maybe that's where I would go. Some persons to at least run with her for 120 meters or try to run with her for 120
Yeah.
meters.
I think she can go after it. I think she's going to go
Hmm.
after it. I don't think Sharika is going to leave that record alone. I
Hmm.
just like how Noel Lyles is going after one of those two sprint record. He has his
Right.
eyes set on it. I think is the same thing with Sharika. I don't think Sharika is going to give up on this 200-meter record,
Hmm.
and she can get it. She
Right.
can.
And
So
and I agree with you. And I think she should have that goal, but I don't think she should get too consumed in it. Just prepare for it, and I think it will come. Don't just get too consumed in it, trying for the record, and then disappointments if it don't happen, that sort of thing. But she's good enough, I think, to just relax, tackle it, and it will happen. Mm.
She definitely can get there. Another outstanding performance for me is Adele Tracy.
Oh yes, 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 yes,
Yes,
yes, yes. All right,
a
forget about those.
new
Yeah.
national record in the 1500 meters in the semifinal.
Right. Um.
Your
And
thoughts? And
well,
also making the 800-meter final.
right.
Yeah.
Two PBs in the two personal best in the 800, in the semi-final and final.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and well, before that, the 1500 PB. She was unfortunate in my view. She fell victim of the change in the rule for progression from round
Oh, the
advancement.
top six
Right,
only, top
as
six only.
against and
Yeah.
yes, that rule, that change was begged for by the coaches and athletes, but I don't see why World Athletics
But
had yielded. Mhm,
I like that rule, and I'm going to tell
mhm.
you why
And I'll tell you why I don't like it. Yes.
um I shouldn't even say I like it because it doesn't guarantee that the top um the top six you'll get the top fastest people in the race. So
That's
I'm
why
not
I don't like it.
yeah, that is one of that's one of the reasons why
Mm,
I don't
mhm.
like it. So I agree with you. When I look
That's
at
why I
it,
don't like
I
it. Yeah.
realize that it is not guaranteed. It
Mhm.
still doesn't guarantee you getting
The best,
the top
right?
people in the semifinal and the
Exactly.
final. So what was really the reason behind changing it?
Uh, I don't
I don't
remember the
know.
exact details. I actually saw what they were saying, but I don't remember the details, but I didn't agree with it. But just to
Yeah.
a point to note, in her semifinal of 12 athletes, 11, 11 of the 12 ran faster than the winner of the other semifinal. So,
Yeah.
it
But I would love to know why would the coaches call for this change though for top six?
um,
I'm
I saw the
curious.
reasoning. I'm gonna look back at it and see what they were saying. I know
Yeah.
I read the reasoning.
Because I
But
saw
I
it
don't
as
remember.
a change and I was like, wow.
Mm.
Yeah.
But her performance was just going back to Tracy. Yeah, I
Hmm.
mean, what more can we ask for? Two PBs in one race and
Yeah.
one event and another in.
Outstanding.
Yeah. We can't ask
Outstanding.
more of her. She
And
competed well.
As Latoya Clark on the live, she's saying, Adele did a national evolution in the 1500 meters. And I
Sub four
agree.
minutes.
Yeah.
4 minutes.
Yeah.
First Jamaican woman to go under 4 minutes.
358.77,
Right.
outstanding.
I,
Outstanding.
I, I hope that she'll serve as inspiration and motivation for some of the other young ladies who, are doing the event, the juniors that look, hey,
And you know what
if,
is so unfortunate? And I've had this discussion before. We've had so many young ladies and young men doing this event at the high school level at champs, but because there's no real system to filter them into, many of them just move on. Either they move
um,
on from the sport or they try and find another event. But we have to create a space where athletes like these middle distance athletes can have somewhere to go when they finish high school, because most of
yeah,
them, where do they go? Where do they really go to to further develop
yeah,
their
it's
their talent so that we can see them on the big stage?
mhm, mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
So,
something I think we need to, as a, well, the organization need to look at, so pick some events
mm-hmm,
and say, all
mm-hmm.
right, and get the heads together and look, we are going to target these events. We want to take them to another level, and you know, see how we, work towards that goal and
Yeah.
objective.
Yeah. Another, even though my heart is broken, another outstanding performance was the women 4x100 meter team in the heats, in the rounds, or the semi-final, if you want to call it that, running a season best. A team
Mhm.
of Brianna Williams, Elaine Thompson Hera, Sasha Lee Forbes, and Shelly Ann Fraser Price. Outstanding.
Yes, oh, can't
Yeah.
say. I mean, very good performance. I mean,
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
for the Heat, and even jumping to the final. We can never predict what could have been, what would have been,
Yeah.
but if Shellyan hadn't had that
And
injury issue,
the women in the final lower that
right?
season best.
Yeah, exactly so.
They actually lower it.
Exactly
I
so.
mean,
Yeah.
I've waited like what, 7 days? 7? 7 days to see Elaine. And when I saw Elaine, I wasn't disappointed.
Mm,
When she came out in the rounds of the 4x1 100-meter relay, I wasn't disappointed. It was worth the wait. Your
yeah,
thoughts?
I know it was, well, for most of us, we were sort of wondering, you know, what are we gonna get? And I have no issue, no complaints with I can't say anything negative at all about her performance, you know.
It was
Um,
outstanding.
and
9.90
um
split.
all right, hear me now on the splits. No. We have to take those splits with a grain of salt. I say that across the board because I'm not sure what the numbers are showing. The reason I say that, if we look at all the splits for the four by one, the first leg is remarkably slow. I mean, for the men, we saw where Coleman, they had Coleman at 10.4. There's absolutely no way that Coleman ran 10.4. So I think what they're measuring there is probably handoff. I don't know. I don't know what is it they're measuring. But in looking at her split in comparison to the other splits on in that heat,
Yeah,
yes,
she did
yeah,
well.
yes, yeah, yeah. So I have to compare. Yes, I mean, I have no argument against anything there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just
The Okay, go ahead.
no,
No,
just on the topic of Elaine. Okay, well, we knew she ran today and did. I don't know if we need to go there, but anyway, just I mean, just
no, man. You can,
right,
you
right.
can, you can.
She ran today and she did our season best, so that's a good sign also. That, and I'm hoping that she will finish her season and in a good place, so that will um set her up for next season.
I'm not sure how many people realize, but because many people don't really watch the details. Every time Elaine run a 100-meter, she lowers her season best. She did it at the trials,
Hmm.
and she came back and do it today.
Today, right? Yeah.
Yeah. So every race she runs a faster time.
I'm hoping she can get at least another. Well, it's not many. What, two Diamond League meets before the final, and I'm not sure how many 100 are there, but
Let me tell
there
you,
are other meets, so
I
I'm
I
keeping my fingers
saw
crossed.
I saw Elaine. I watched that race today from gun to tape, and
Hmm.
when I saw Elaine on her toes tracking, I said, "Okay, season
Hmm.
2024 is coming." And I'm not saying another word. Season
Yeah, yeah, right.
2024,
We leave it at
and I'm
there.
looking forward.
We keep our fingers crossed that
Yes, yeah, keep
everything will be put in place
Yes,
for
yeah,
her to get a good
yeah.
season, and
If
we leave it
things
at that.
go according to plan, we are
Yeah,
going to see a very interesting season come next year, Paris, leading up to Paris
right.
and in Paris. So, yeah.
Yeah.
The
Mhm.
men 4x4 100-meter relay. What you thought about the men 4x4? Both the
Um.
rounds and the well, to me, even though they lowered this season best in the final, the rounds for me
Mhm.
was a better race for me. The 4x4.
Okay, I think I
Yeah,
can understand what you're saying
yeah.
by that.
Mm-hmm.
Disappointment for me there in the 4x4 because coming into the championships, looking at all the teams, the depth of the teams, I thought that we had a good enough team to get on the podium. I still think that we have a good enough crop of people to get on the podium. Somehow, well, Bailey having got hurt and couldn't start the final, that would have maybe set us back a little bit. But still, I thought we should have, been able to get a medal.
Yeah. The
Um,
women, your thoughts on the women 4x4?
um, we went 4x4. Well,
Yeah.
it finished as I expected. Yeah. I knew that I was saying that, well, with the US out, I know it was going to be Netherlands and Jamaica fighting for that medal. And I was saying to some colleagues, like, look, we have to get a huge lead at the final exchange because Ball is a second and more quicker than anybody that we have.
Fenke
Fenke
Ball
Ball,
is, we have to
yeah,
give her her flowers.
right.
She is an
Tandy,
outstanding
right,
athlete.
right,
She
right.
is an outstanding talent.
Yeah, she is
She is an outstanding talent. And Fenke for me was one of the outstanding
standing.
performances at the games.
Definitely,
And she
definitely.
worked for her country.
Oh yes, she did,
She
she did.
worked, she came out and she worked for her
Right.
country.
The mixed relays. I mean, she
Everything
fell,
that
came
she
back
was
in the
in, yeah.
individual 400 hurdles, then the 4x4. Oh yeah,
Yes, she
she worked right.
yes, she
You said it
worked.
appropriately. You said it
Yes,
appropriately.
man.
She
She
worked
went batting for her country,
right.
and
Yes.
she did outstandingly well. And of course, Stacey Ann Williams did well. She
Oh
did
yeah.
well.
Oh no. Yeah. Oh
And
yes. Oh yes.
we have to
Right.
give credit to the
She,
opponent.
exactly.
I remember 2015. 2015 when we won gold in Beijing with the team of Christine Day, Sharika Jackson, uh
McPherson. Was it
McPherson,
person
Stephanie McPherson, and Novlin
and Novlin
Williams
Williams?
Mills.
Right.
Alyssa Felix, a lot of people were saying, how could
Right.
Stephanie get such a lead and Allison catch her? Allison is a super talent.
Exactly.
And
48 splits.
you have
Exactly.
to
That's what I think.
recognize when an
Right.
listen, when an athlete is good, you have to recognize that they are
Exactly.
good. Whether
Right.
they are your countryman or
Or not.
another country, you have to give them their flowers. Allison is one of the most talented quarter miler I
Right.
have seen in my time.
Right. And with that baton in her hand, she has delivered
Yes,
some
yes,
exceptional splits,
yes,
both in the
yes,
4x4 and in the 4x4.
yes, yes, yes.
Yeah.
Moving along quickly, I have to talk about the drums, the drums. Jaden Hibbert
Yeah, yeah,
with
yeah,
the
yeah, yeah,
biggest
yeah.
jump in the tournament.
Yeah, I felt that one. I really felt that one.
The jump that won the final
Yeah.
came close, but it
Close.
wasn't as
Yeah.
big as Jaden. Jaden is 19. He is another junior.
18. Yeah, no,
He is
I'm
another
19. Yeah.
yeah, he is
Yeah,
another
yes.
junior.
Yeah.
Talk about Hibbert
Wow.
in
What
just
more
a
can
minute.
I?
1 minute.
Only 1 minute. Well,
Jaden
he,
Ebert was the only jumper that made the final with a big Q. And
right
who
with the
don't
big
know
Q,
what
he
the big
was
Q
right.
means? The big Q means automatic
Dramatic qualifier.
qualifier.
Right.
He was the only
Um.
one that went through with a big Q.
Yeah. As I say, I really felt that one. Um. When he couldn't continue, that first jump, he wasn't
Yeah.
able to get off one jump,
Mm-hmm.
and I could see them working and trying everything, but in his
Mm-hmm.
best interest, I believe,
Yeah, we have to
I'm
preserve
sure his
him.
handlers made the right decision.
Yes,
Exactly.
yes, yes. I
But
mean, many, including myself, wanted to see him, but the right
mhm.
decision
Right,
was
yeah,
made. Yeah.
I have to trust his handlers, and
Yes.
that they did the right thing.
Yeah. The
Um,
long jump,
ooh,
second,
ooh,
third, and fourth. I have never
yeah.
seen three men line up in at a global meet in the drums for Jamaica. What an achievement!
I doubt if you have even had two in a final.
What an
I'm up
achievement!
for correction on that, but I don't we have even had two. Yeah,
I don't remember two either.
right. I've come going into the championships. I felt that the three could have we could have had three finalists because they were jumping that good throughout the season. Medals, I saw two as a possibility. Um, to be honest, I wasn't thinking of gold. 'Cause I thought 10 I mean, he's just awesome.
Superman.
Right. But as far as the other two who would have got the goal, I couldn't call it because I know Tajay is a fierce competitor. He's a tough competitor,
Even when
and
he's
he's
injured.
even when he's injured, he's tough.
Mm-hmm.
And Pinnock and McLeod, they have been having a good season. So
Yeah.
I'm not really surprised at the second, third, fourth. Um, not surprised at all.
That's history, man. That's history
Oh
right
yeah.
there.
Oh yes. Oh yes. Oh yes.
History, big, 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 big history right there. The field events overall, we're going to spend another minute on the field events.
Mhm.
Last year at the World Championship, Jamaica entered 15 athletes for field events.
Mhm.
And of the 15, 11 made finals. This year, we entered 19 athletes, and of the 19, 12 made finals. Where we get so many field event athletes from? What is happening,
Um,
Ozzy?
I like what's happening, and
I love it. I love it.
I remember talking to some colleagues from last year, someone who were beating down the men, for example, and said, "Boy, the men, them this, them that, them that." And I said, "Careful. When we look at, we are in this thing called track and field, not track. When you look at track and field, and we go above 400, the men I thought were in a better place. The young men, if we look at like age 23 coming down, that sort of age, we were in a better place than the women. The men were in a better place than the women. And it looked good. And I'm glad that we have started to realize that promise. Pinnock, couple of World Juniors back, he was a bronze medalist. Then we had another bronze medalist, Carr, in the under 20, at the under 20 level, that is. So, and of course, Hibbert. So, and discus, Kai Chang was world junior champion in the discus. Kobe Lawrence last year in the shot put. So we have a good base,
Outstanding,
a good
outstanding,
base to work with.
brilliant,
Right.
brilliant. Eight field events
Mm-hmm.
were contested at the championship. Eight field events you normally have. And the only two that Jamaica wasn't in was the pole vault and the javelin. Jamaica was
And
in
right,
every other field event. The
right,
hammer throw, the long jump, the high jump, every jump you can think of.
right.
Every other throw.
Yeah, and if
Only the javelin and the pole vault.
well,
What an accomplishment.
yeah, and if I can just make a comment, a little disappointment in the men's shot put in Rajendra Campbell made the final, but he wasn't able to get off a legal throw. I think I saw one throw that was good,
Yeah,
but
he
it
didn't
was
register. Yeah, he
right.
didn't
But
register a mark. Yeah.
I hope he's not disheartened, and I don't think he will be based on the throws that he had. That I think he was what at one stage like fourth or fifth in the world, so that will serve him well.
I hope
Um,
I hope they're all motivated
it
to
is,
come
yes.
into next season because I've never seen so many collegiate athletes done well for Jamaica
Mm-hmm.
in a long time. I mean, we can sit here and count them from the sprints to the jump
Jumps,
to
right.
all these juniors stepped up and they did
Right.
remarkably
Right. If,
well.
if I could just make another comment about the field events.
Sure.
The young lady Nayoka Clunis.
Clunis.
I hope I didn't butcher her name.
No, it's Clunis, yeah.
Yes, no, her first name I'm not sure. Right.
Okay.
I think it's Nayoka.
Yeah.
Um, I will say I am not one that support taking athletes to world championships for development. I think world championship is you send your best. But I make exception. For example, in the hammer, where it's an event that we're getting into that. For want of some better words right now. And she wasn't that far outside of the qualifying mark. And I was hoping that she would have been selected. She was. And I was hoping that going to the championship should have gotten off some good shows. I didn't expect any medal or anything like that. I just wanted her to perform well. Unfortunately, she didn't perform as well as we would have hoped because she threw like 58 meters and she had
Mm-hmm.
multiple throws this season over 70 meters. So I'm
You
not
see,
sure
that's the
what went
thing.
wrong
That's
here.
the thing with championship, If
Right, I know. Yeah.
sometimes you just have an off
Up
day
there.
or it
Yeah, that's it.
championship is just
Something
so
just
if you're championship, you have to be at your best mentally
physically,
and physically
physically, right,
in
right.
order to perform to
And
your
yeah,
best.
probably if she had another Jamaican in the event with her,
But you know
although
something,
they wouldn't necessarily be in the same
but you know
qualified,
something,
but just to
Ozzy.
to help each other, you know.
But you know
Mm-hmm.
something, you know what I'm happy about? Even though she
Mm-hmm.
might not have medal, but when I look at our performance, when I break it down event to event and look at all the achievements,
Mm-hmm.
our legacy, and a lot of people will tell you that's my favorite word. Our legacy, we keep building on
Yeah,
our
on it,
legacy.
right?
Our
Exactly.
legacy is growing, it's
Growing,
growing.
and
Yeah, it's
I'm
growing.
that I'm happy for that, you know.
Yes,
Yes,
the
that
legacy.
we're
When you go back and look at the data, you
mm-hmm.
can say yes, our legacy. Last year we had 15 in Eugene. This year we have 19.
Yeah.
I'm sure a lot of other field event athletes will be motivated for next year. I mean, which
Mm-hmm.
is less than a year away. Paris is less
Yeah.
than a year away.
Yes. 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 Yes.
And I'm sure
Yes.
everybody is gearing up for that because that's the
Yeah.
big thing. That's the big
I,
deal.
I would like to see us have two hammer throwers next year and two shot put throwers.
Let's
You know,
see.
female. That is.
Let's see. The final event that I want to talk about is, and I left it for last deliberately because I want to segue to the next section. The
Kind of.
women's 100 meter. Ozzy, what are your thoughts?
Um, going into all right, straight out, I felt Sharika would have won. I thought she would have won. Um, but at the same time, I was aware that there are threats. I mean, in the form of Shakari, and I think to a lesser extent Talu. Shakari was a kind of unknown. You know, we're not too sure what we're gonna get, but we always knew that she was going to be dangerous. Shellyan, two outings before 10.8 to 10.83, so we knew she was in decent shape. And I felt that we could have had two medals. I was looking for two medals out of the three. Maybe I was greedy. I don't
But
know.
we got
Give me the
two.
fourth. Yeah,
We got
we did
two.
get the two.
But which
But
two?
right, that's it. One of them I was looking for was gold. I'll be honest with you. But
Yeah.
Shakari, I mean, like her, hate her, we have to give her credit for that performance. I cannot, from I've been following track and field, I cannot recall any athlete that would have been under the type of pressure that she was on, you know, pressure on her. I mean, albeit some of it is caused by is of her own doing, you know, her
Listen,
utterances and her actions and all that sort of thing.
no
Right,
small Q, no
right,
small Q
yeah.
ever, ever won the 100
That's true.
meter.
That's true.
No
Yeah,
little Q.
yeah.
And for those who are not sure, when I said big Q and
Go on,
small
big
Q,
girl.
big Q is automatic qualify,
Mm.
and the small Q is not automatic,
Automatic
meaning
qualifier.
you went in on time.
Time. Yeah. But why I didn't pay too much attention to that? She had the third fastest time going into the final.
Thank you
So
very much.
right,
Thank you
right.
very much. Thank you very much. But if
So
you look at this,
yeah,
this race was a top of the line race.
it was. It was.
Nine women line up for this race. Seven of these women
And
ran sub 11
11
seconds.
seconds. Exactly.
Outstanding.
Quality field. A quality field. A quality field.
Quality
A
field.
quality field.
And I tell people I'm not even going to find any excuse.
No, 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 no,
Shakari
no, none.
was the better person on the
On the
day, and
day.
she
Full
won.
stop. Full
Full
stop.
stop.
I have nothing further to say. She
Nothing
was the
further
better
to
person
say.
on the
She
day.
was the better one on the day.
The
And
day.
remember, championship is about what you do on the day,
The day.
not what
Yeah.
you come in with, not what
Mhm.
time you're running, not who have the best time, is what you do when you turn up at that line.
Exactly so.
Shakari was on the bubble. Shakari
Yeah,
was
sure, sure, sure,
in
sure.
the queue room
Yeah,
waiting.
yeah,
She was in the queue room waiting for the
yeah.
third
You know,
semi-final to run.
yeah, and
So
you
no
know,
small queue never win the
right.
championship.
And I said to a colleague, that's the first time you see her in a situation where she's not in control. When in that queue room, waiting, looking at it, and nervous.
Nervous.
That she her um fortune depended on
Latoya,
somebody else's. Somebody
Latoya
else.
on the live, Latoya on the live is saying she placed herself under that small queue though
Yeah, 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 she did.
for the
Mhm.
reason to win. I don't know. I
No, no,
don't
no, no.
know
Nobody does that. Nobody.
because
No,
and the
no.
reason why I
You mean
said I don't
what is she saying?
know.
Deliberate? Sorry,
Yeah,
is she saying that she
yeah,
deliberately
I
did
think
that?
that's what she's saying.
No,
But
no, 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 no. I don't believe
Lati,
that.
when your lineup win a semi-final like that,
Yeah.
how do you place yourself on a small queue, not knowing what is going to happen? I don't know, but of
In
course,
another heat.
it's
In another
debatable
heat.
and it's
No,
okay.
no, no,
It's
no. I don't buy
okay,
that. I don't buy that because she could have easily well ended up in. In fact, I think the lane nine helped her. I
Let me
believe.
tell you, I've
I
seen
I think lane nine
many
helped her.
outer lanes or inner lane. Yeah, outer lanes seem to help champions. If you're
Sometimes,
a
yeah.
champion and you know how to win outer lane, I've seen so many champions
Right.
win from outer
Outer
lane, whether
lane.
you're going
Right.
around the track or
Mhm.
you're coming down the track. Daniel did the same thing.
Right.
Daniel
She did.
won
Yeah.
from outer
From
lane. Yeah.
exactly.
Because
Yeah.
she knows how to win. Put
But
another person out there who is not a seeded athlete, you might not get,
and the head
yeah,
get
you might not get
messed
the
up
same result.
and they start worrying about the lane and all that stuff instead of
Yeah.
just focus, which is what I think she did. I think because I've looked at her and she just looked down the track. She
Justin
was yeah.
Gatlin, Justin Gatlin won 2017 from the outer lane also. So it
17.
depends on who you put out on
Right.
the outer lane. Yeah, Justin Gatlin won
Yeah.
from the outer lane
Van
also.
Niekerk in the
Van Niekerk
400
won from
world
there.
record, not just
Yeah,
one world
yeah,
record.
yeah, yeah. We've seen it.
Yeah,
You know,
so
but this was a brilliant race, and I am not even going to try and find
no, find an
excuses.
excuse. None, none, none.
Yeah, Shakari was just a better athlete on the
On the
day,
day, right?
in that race on the
In
day.
that
And
race, right?
we have to give her that because that's what we're here for. You know, we can't
Right.
allow our bias or our emotions, I should
Motions to get
say,
the better of
to
us,
get the
right?
better of us. And I know that a
Lose
lot of emotion, people,
motions, right?
let me tell you, the emotions were very, very high from Monday last week until the championship
We'll
is
yeah,
finished. And she was just a better one on the day.
it's
And that's all I have to say. I
same,
have nothing
right?
else. And
Right.
congrats to her. Congrats
Exactly.
to all.
I'm fully 100% with you on that. Nothing
Yep.
further to say. Yeah,
Yep. Because
yeah.
I mean, when you look at Shakari's when you look at her career from she burst on the scene 2019
Mm.
to now, she went through a lot.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I
You
mean,
know, she
I
went through
said the
a
pressure,
lot where she didn't make the team. She got
right?
dropped out in the first round. She
Round,
was banned.
run,
And for
she,
her to
yeah,
come back to her first championship and do
right.
something like this, I mean, and from I saw Shakari run in when she ran that Win 80 10.57, I made a video and I said, believe it or not, Shakari is sounding the alarm and she is
Hmm.
at the party. What
Yes,
she will do is up to her, and she
right.
did it. So
Exactly, exactly.
with that said, for me, moving
Yep.
right along to the second segment of the
Hmm.
show, the misfortunes. I've had my heart broken a few times. Yes, yes.
Well, we, we mentioned Hibbert already.
Yeah, I've had my heart
Misfortune,
broken for my country and other
right there.
countries. The
Yeah.
first one I have on my list is the Netherlands. Got their heart broken
Twice.
twice the same way,
Yeah,
twice.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, somebody couldn't have written a better script.
Yeah,
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 yeah.
perfect. Yeah,
Hassan,
Asan on her way to gold and Fenke on her way to
to
gold
goal.
and
Yeah,
a world record.
record. Right, exactly. Yeah, we forget about that because it would have been a world record.
Yeah, my heart broke for
Uh,
them. My heart broke for
yeah,
them. Yeah.
yeah.
M-
It's um
My
yes.
my other heartbreak was Stephen Gardner from the Bahamas.
Oh yes,
Yeah, the Bahamas. Yeah.
man.
Yeah.
I felt,
That
yeah,
was
yeah, yeah.
yeah.
I almost forgot about him. Yeah, I really felt
Yeah.
it for him.
He was
But
out last year and came back this
came back
season looking good
good,
and
looking good, looking good.
fell to injuries again. You know, it's
It,
heartbreaking.
it,
That's
it
something
is.
I never want to see
No,
for an
any athlete.
athlete. It doesn't matter where
No,
you're from.
exactly,
It is.
exactly.
Yeah. But
But
we hope for him speedy recovery. I mean,
recovery,
of course, Hassan came back and Fenke came back, and I mean those two young ladies, they're warriors.
yeah. Hassan, I don't know
They both
Hassan
came back and medal.
and that triple that you tried again this year. The 10,000, 5,000, 1,500, and what what
People
can I say? What can I say?
people have their comments, but I think for her, when Hassan look back at her career when she retire, she's
Mhm.
going to be one of the few athletes who have done this.
Yeah,
So a lot of athletes, it is about leaving a legacy behind.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So
She
they
she
do so they do things that we would consider crazy,
crazy.
but
Yeah,
when their name is being
yeah.
called later on in life,
Right.
their name is going to be calling for a long,
A
long
lot,
time. And I think
and
Hassan,
for some good reasons.
yes,
Right,
for some good
right.
reason.
Good
Nobody, I
good
don't remember
positive.
anybody has ever attempted anything like that.
No, not no. I can't. I think
Yeah,
way back in the Olympic
yeah,
Zatopek did
yeah.
5,000, 10,000
Hassan know
marathon,
what she's
something like
doing.
that.
Yeah,
But
she's
yeah,
creating a legacy that will never die. That will never die.
yeah,
Yeah.
she's a tough company. I mean, I like her, her whole
Marathon,
approach, her whole attitude. Eh? And
marathon.
she's planning to do the marathon.
Well,
I
she
don't
did
know if
it.
you're. Oh well, oh, okay, there you go.
Yes, she
Yeah,
won the marathon. Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
She's
Which,
outstanding. She's
oh yeah,
outstanding. And my heart broke for Jamaica quite a few times. Rashid Broadbell. We're now at
Broadbell,
Jamaica. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, really. Through my Jago connection to that, I felt that one maybe more so than
Yeah.
some of the others. But
He was one two who went into the championship as the top two.
yeah,
Yeah.
yes, he was.
hmm
I mean, today was the first I looked back at that race, and I was trying to see if I could see what went wrong. I still can't figure out what went wrong. Maybe the film, I can't pick it up, but not that it matters now. But I don't know. I was trying to find something as to an explanation, as to why. But unfortunate, but
Yeah.
I have I would say I'm kind of immune to the disappointments now. I mean, 1984, Bert Cameron pulling up in that Olympic, that kind
In
of
that
set the tone for
semifinal
in that
400. Yeah.
semifinal. Right, right. So
Yeah. Let me
I
tell you,
accept that these things
championship.
can happen. Right,
Yeah.
right.
Championship, it is a part of the championship because I've seen so many countries have
Oh yes,
their heartbreak.
break. Yeah,
it's
man.
it's a part of the game. It is a
So
part
many.
of the game, and we're not excluded. We're not
Right.
excluded because
Exactly.
we are a
Exactly.
part of the game.
right.
Shelley and Fraser Price, further injuries in the 4
Ooh.
by 100 relay is another one
Yeah.
that hit me below the belt.
But even all right, I know we're on disappointments and thingy, but just going back to Shelley, I mean the fact that third place and eventual silver medal in the relay, she has now removed herself from any other Jamaicans as far as medals won in world
Yes,
championship.
yeah.
Right.
She's a
She's
top person now. Yeah,
right,
yeah,
right.
yeah.
Yeah, but
She
yes, it was
gonna lead. She gonna
it,
lead.
it was unfortunate. I haven't heard. I've heard sort of conflicting information as to what exactly happened to her. I'm just hoping that it's not something long lasting. It's something that she can recover
Yeah, I
from.
hope it's something she can
Right.
recover from because
And
she's looking
to,
forward to
to
Paris, and
Paris. Right.
I want her on that team to
Oh
Paris.
yeah, oh yeah,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah.
One
I would love to
choose
see her. I would love to see
well,
her.
at least show up and turn up and
Yeah,
make that
yeah,
team.
yeah,
Yes, I would love her to be on the team, but
yeah.
um,
Yeah, I
mhm,
want her in Paris. I love to see that. So, do
mhm.
you have any other misfortunes that I did not mention?
I think that was. Let me see. I think that was about all
But those
I.
those were the ones
Yeah. All right.
that
So
stood out.
Broadwell, Canada, disappointment, misfortunes.
And then
Um.
of
Yeah.
course we're going to
Disappointments, but
yeah.
misfortunes. Yeah, I think that was about it.
Yes, yes, yeah. Those. Oh, and another one that stood out to me was the two buggy carts.
Oh,
Yes,
yes, yes,
yes,
yes, yes,
yes,
yes,
yes,
yes.
yes,
And
yes.
Hudson getting that
I hope,
piece of.
yeah, I hope they are able to remove that glass from his eye. I really,
In fact,
really hope.
I
That was a
I did,
misfortune off the
yeah,
track.
right, but
Yeah,
I is after the race, and I think it was I realized when he was reinstated. I think well, not reinstated. It was put forward to the final,
yeah,
and then I think it's at that time I learned that there was actually glass in his eye because I when
yes.
I saw it, I saw him hold his face, but even to just go there and run with the glass in his eye, man,
Yeah,
I
from
was
the accident happened, I saw when it happened because I think the
yeah,
camera was in the
yeah,
back at the time, and
yeah, I saw it, and
he,
he fell his face, right.
yes, yeah.
But I thought it was just.
I think he was
Mm,
sitting beside Noah Lyles at the time. They were
um,
sitting side by side in the buggy.
yeah, I don't know.
And
Yeah,
so
something like
I
right.
hope, I hope they can remove it and
Yeah,
he's fine. His sight is okay. So that was the
yeah.
last one for me.
But
Now, let us get into the organizers. There were some differences
mhm.
I saw that I like, and I think I have to give World Athletics some credit for this because I see where they are trying to do new things so
Mhm.
that both fans and the competitors can
Okay.
have a good experience. So I think the changes and doing things differently is a good thing. The first thing I saw that I like was
Was
the queue
Q
room. I like
room,
the queue
right?
room, yes. Yeah,
I,
I call it the pavilion. I like the queue room. What do you think?
I kind of want to know if the athletes like it.
I think
That
at least,
the whole world. I
no,
know
I
get
think they
impression.
were enjoying
Right,
themselves
yeah. In a
there.
sense,
Yeah.
what I found interesting was um the athletes communicating, and I was kind of saying, God, that one is from Hungary,
Yes.
that one is from.
Yeah.
I'm saying, I
And you
kind of
know what
wondering
they
what
did?
language they're communicating in, you know.
You know what they did that I like? When,
Mhm.
like, if I don't make the next round and you make the next round, we
Yeah.
hug each other
So
and
and
say
yeah, yeah,
congrats or
yeah, the
whatever.
athletes,
So
yeah, yeah.
yeah, so I
And
like the queue room, the queue room.
it was good in that some of the fans who I think some of us take the sport to an extreme and a level that it shouldn't be taken. I
Yeah.
mean, it's like it's warfare when
Mm-hmm.
it's not. I mean, people are competing fiercely out there, but
Mm-hmm.
at the same time, they can be civil amongst each other. And we saw that in the call room where they were communicating and stuff.
Yes,
And
yeah.
I
Yeah. Yeah.
like that. I like that.
I see where the athletes, they were just having fun, they were
Fun,
having a
yes,
good time. I've seen
yeah.
videos, I've seen, even Camacho Quinn,
Good.
she was having a good time, and I'm like,
Yeah,
the athletes are really enjoying themselves. But as you
and
rightfully say, sometimes fans
yeah, man, we
take
take
it
it
to the wrong level,
level.
and
Yeah,
then and I don't like that part. That's the part
no,
I don't like. I
no,
don't like, as I always say, your comment should encourage and not discourage.
right,
So
right.
I don't
Yeah.
like that. So I love the chill room, and I hope they
Mm.
have it at the
Yeah,
Olympics
yeah.
and moving
I think
forward.
it was a success, and
Yes.
I am almost certain that they'll
Yeah.
right.
I like
I haven't seen any reason not to
not to. Yeah, I
for
like
them.
the chill room.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I love the stadium. Oh my God, the stadium. There were
Yes.
so many different things. I mean, the aesthetic of the stadium, the
Mhm.
space, they had a lot of space. And moving into the next part, the next thing I like was how they did the medal ceremony. They made it very
Okay.
intimate,
Right.
where fans
Mhm.
can go, or if your country is getting a medal, you were able to
Mhm.
go take pictures closely, get your little videos. I like that.
Um. Yeah, which sort of
And it's
seems
very close.
somewhat removed from the normal thinking because
Yeah.
I heard Noah Lyles um complaining about the fact that like at the World Championship the athletes can't take because of the sponsorship thingy and the constraints and restraints and all of that on the sponsor who sponsor. They can't like have a photographer taking pictures and all of that to show themselves and project themselves. So
Oh.
even that was I guess a fan with a phone at
Mm-hmm,
inside. I think
mm-hmm,
that's
mm-hmm.
acceptable. But to
Yeah.
have your personal photographer or something like that, I don't. I think that's a
Oh,
bit.
that wasn't allowed.
Yeah, I don't think that's allowed.
Oh,
But
oh wow.
even, well, a step in the right direction. We go
Yeah.
with
Yeah,
a
I
little baby
like it.
steps. Yeah,
Yeah,
little
I
baby
like it that
steps.
they had a pavilion for
Hmm.
medal ceremony. So
Little
I think
baby
it was
steps.
based on what the commentator was saying. It wasn't too far from the stadium because
Hmm.
you could watch the medal ceremony, hang out with your athletes a little bit, and
This,
then you go into the stadium. So,
yeah,
that state of the art stadium, how much hundreds of millions of dollars,
yeah,
euros, I should
yeah.
say. It's outstanding,
But
outstanding.
right, right. But one other thing I must say about World Athletics, I think they are fairly responsive, to
Yes, they're doing good stuff. Yeah.
yeah,
Hmm.
they've tried, to
And they want people to have good experience when they come
experiences,
to,
right,
yeah.
right,
And
exactly.
Budapest seemed as if it was a lot of fun. And of course, Europeans, they love track and
Track and
field.
field,
So they turn out. They turn
trust me,
out. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, they
yeah,
love track and field.
I mean, that's
Yeah.
a, oh yes, they do.
Another thing that I observe that I like is that field athletes were allowed to use their implements. Once they were examined by officials, they could use their own
Mm.
thing. So throwers could use their own, discus throwers could use their own thing, javelin. And I
I'm
like
not.
that.
Is that a new rule?
It
I'm not sure.
seems so
I,
because I heard a commentator saying that
mm.
athletes are now able to use their own implements. I don't know if they used to use it
No, I'm
before.
I'm not sure it's new, because I remember looking at the rules. Anyway, I'm
Yeah.
up for correction on that, but
Okay.
I'm
But
not
I
sure
heard
it's
the
totally.
commentator
Well,
say
yeah.
so. I'm not sure if they did it in Eugene. I'm not sure, but yes,
Um.
we could check that one out.
Mm,
But I like that because at
yeah.
least athletes when they get comfortable with their
Right. Because people
implements.
have, for example, with the disco, you have different size hands and thing. But as long as the weight and certain, it
Hmm.
it um
Yeah.
conforms certain dimensions, then yeah, of course.
Yeah, once the officials examine it and it
Right, and
meets
it's
the
approved.
criteria,
You're
then
right,
they
and it's
can.
approved.
Yeah,
Exactly.
and I,
Yeah.
I think that was cool. I think that was cool.
Hmm. Hmm.
Any other anything else you observed that the organizers
Um.
did differently that you think worth mentioning?
Yeah, but for the wrong reason. Yeah,
Oh,
but
Winston
complaint.
Willocks, Winston
Yeah.
Willocks on the live. He's saying it's a new rule. Thank you very much, Willocks. He's saying with the implements,
Mm.
it's a new rule, and I like it. Where throwers, where the field athletes can use their own implements,
Mm.
whether it's a
Okay. All right.
javelin, the
Mm.
discus. Okay. Thank you very much, Winston Willocks, for that. I
Mm.
like that rule. I like it.
Yeah.
Now, the next section we're going to get into, Ozzy, is the medal table, Jamaica's strength on the
Okay.
medal table.
Um.
And I predicted 11 medals, 11. We got 12.
Yeah.
Some people were saying, how is it that I predicted 11 medals if I underestimated our team? I said, no, but this is championship. And other countries are coming
Right.
to get medals,
So
So,
so they're saying that your total
no,
was too low.
yeah, they're saying that my medal
Okay.
count
Okay.
was too low.
Was too low.
And, I had to explain to them that, look, you have 195 countries in the world. Most of them turn up to get a spot in our finals where only 8 people can get into, or 12 people can
Yeah.
get into, or
Um.
whatever. So, and when we
So.
had our dream team with the likes of
Uh-huh.
Usain Bolt, Veronica, Karen, all those people, we managed to get 13. Not
Yeah.
saying that we cannot surpass 13 that we got 2009,
Right.
but you have to be objective when you
So, yeah.
predict it and you have to show your competitor
Uh-huh.
some respect. But there were areas where it seemed as if it would have looked differently and it was more promising.
Uh-huh.
But before I put some things into perspective, what are your thoughts, Azzy? Because I have some data to
Um.
share.
Okay. The medal table, whilst that is the common measuring stick, or the most common measuring stick. I think the placing table is the better measure of the state of a country's track and field, in that it looks at first place right down to eighth place and assign points, just like champs. So, all right, let me example Spain, for example, 4 gold medals. They're ahead of Jamaica in the medals table because they got 4 gold.
Because of the
But
quality.
right, they got four gold and a silver for 5 medals. But looking at the points table, they only scored 55 points, whereas Jamaica finished with 139 points in second position because of the fact that we made so many finals. We got some fourth, some fifth, some sixth. So it showed that our track and field was in a better place than Spain's. And I think that that table, I think,
Very
is a better measure.
brilliant, brilliant.
A
And
better measure.
you just push me to where I want to go now.
Mhm.
Let us put some things in perspective. You have There are 195 countries in the world, okay? India is number one with 1.4 plus billion. China is number two with the same. USA is a third, 339 plus million.
Yep.
Nigeria is six with 223 million. Brazil seventh with 260 plus. Ethiopia 11th with 126 million. 12 is Japan with 123 plus million. Germany is 19 with a population of 83 plus million. Great Britain or United Kingdom is 21st on the list with 67 million. France is 23 with 64. South Africa 24 with 60 million. 25 is Italy with 58 million. Kenya is 26 with 55 million. Spain is 32 with 47 million. And Canada is 38 with 38 plus million. The Netherlands is number 71 with 38 million. Guess where Jamaica is? Jamaica is
A
number
hundred and
one. Jamaica is
100 and
number
something.
136 with 2.7 plus
Yeah,
million
yeah,
people. Now, the point I
yeah,
am trying to make,
yeah.
I list all these countries because they are very dominant in track and field and they're consistent. But Jamaica is 176 out of 195 countries
From a
with
population
two,
perspective,
from a
right?
population perspective, 2.7 million. The
Mhm.
closest one to us has 38 plus million people. Now, Jamaica is the smallest nation competed in track and field globally consistently and competitively for
Lovely.
over 70 years.
Mhm.
It is more than 70 years, but I'm starting with the Olympics, which started in 1948.
Mhm.
Based on quantity, we came second with 12 medals, America
Right.
first with 29. Based on quality,
Yeah.
we finished fourth.
All right. Right.
USA first with 29, 12 gold, 8 silver, 9 bronze. Spain second with 4 gold, as you said, 2 silver, 6 medal, no bronze.
Mhm.
Kenya was third with 4 gold, 1 silver, 5 medal. Jamaica fourth, 3 golds, 5 silver, 4 bronze. Now,
Mhm.
which country consistently
Could
finish
I?
ahead of Jamaica on the medal
All
table?
right. Could I just give some figures for the placement, just the points
Sure,
for the
sure,
placement table, and
sure.
again, just to inform the viewership, what they do is take from first to eighth and just assign points. I guess it's like 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2 right now. All right. The US is number one, ranked number one, 277 points. Jamaica, second, 139. Kenya, third, 112. Britain, fourth, 102. Ethiopia, fifth, 96. I'll stop at Canada at number six, 70. I'll just stop there. All right, let me go to Spain because Spain bothered me. I'll tell you why Spain bothered me too further. All right, Spain is in seventh with 55 points. So that even drives home the point even more, of
Yeah.
how competitive we have
Mm-hmm.
been. And over the years.
And this is why we have to look at data in details, and we have to look at data from different angles, because
Right.
anywhere you look at the data, Jamaica is one of the most dominant
Not
country in track and field over the last 70 years, if we're starting from the Olympics. So
Olympics. Right.
a lot of people might not understand that we Jamaica, we are, because when you look at all those other countries, when you look at population, I mean, them tie up Jamaica so many times
Many
with we
times.
look at 2.7
And population is one thing, but the economic state of the country, GDP and all that coming into play,
and all of those things.
we still way
We
down.
are, yes,
Right.
yes, we are, and
Right.
we're doing remarkably well.
As they would say,
We are
we are
doing
fighting above our weight class.
right.
Way above.
When you look at track and field is dominated by North America, the United States, and Jamaica on the medal table. When you look at the medal table, it continued to be North America, Jamaica, and the United States. And I say to a lot of people, I said, look, sometimes we need to look at the data from different angles to realize how well we are doing. We are doing
Right.
remarkably well.
Of course, yeah. And this is why sometimes when okay, somebody predict 12 medals and we don't get 12, we get 10 or we get 9, and people, that need to take things in perspective.
Yes, and
In the
this is
proper
why,
perspective,
yes, and this is why I said, let us put some things in perspective
Right.
so people can understand that
Stand.
how powerful
Full.
Jamaica is in track
To be,
and field
to be
on the
honest,
medal table. Let us discuss how
Mhm.
um how little but talawa we are.
How we maintain this,
Yes, and
or
how we
even
were,
improve it.
and how we are able to maintain
Oh,
and
Lord.
improve.
Mercy me.
We were
Um,
in everything. I mean, we every event that we
except,
entered, we were in a final. Which final we weren't
no,
in? I'm trying to remember.
no, they weren't in the long jump women. The hammer, of course.
Right, the hammer.
This
A few,
discuss women.
just a few field
Yeah,
events
just
that
a
we
few. Right,
weren't
just a
in.
few.
But
Just a
when
few.
you look at how many finals we are
But
doing remarkably well, and this
every
is
track event,
why, yes, and this is why
right.
now I want us to segue to the business of sport.
Mhm.
Sport is a business just like any other business that requires management of organization. So we need our people to be planning, to be organizing, to be leading, and to be controlling, which are the four
Mhm.
main components of
Of my
management.
management, right?
Yes, we need to do that. Planning is basically involves decision making.
Okay.
The
Mhm.
decision making in planning, managers need to in the planning stage, management need to establish the organization goals, and of course what is the course of action
Done.
to
To
achieve
achieve
those
those
goals.
goals, right?
During the planning phase, management supposed to make strategic and tactical decisions
Decisions.
so that we can attain these goals. Ozzy, based on what is going on, because we all hear the noise and we've
Mhm.
seen things, are we managing?
Are we managing? All
Yep.
right, all right. I'll answer it this way. We can do better at managing. Let me just say it. We can do better. Even simple things like this communication, right, from the track and field organization, the body. Sometimes just communicating better with the fans. I mean, you don't have to tell us everything, but there are some things that I think we need to know. We need to understand, um, and it will only help them in the long run. But I think we can do much better at managing. Much
we
better.
we I need to see more strategic planning, tactical planning, operational planning.
Mhm.
I am not seeing those things, and I mean, is Jamaica track and field doing this based on what we have been seeing over the years happening with the sport, even when we go to global meet? Are we really doing any real planning? Are we organizing, which include coordinating between the planning and resources?
Mm-hmm.
I I don't know. We need to be doing more. And I'm going to tell you something, Ozzy. And leading
Mm-hmm.
is another part of planning. And when you're leading, it involves motivating
Mm-hmm.
your employees
Right.
to
Definitely.
attain the organization
Musicians'
goals.
goals. Right.
That is what we want, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, good.
Uh, yes. Go ahead. Mm.
Good. My question is again, are we using the right fit to motivate, to influence, and direct and coach and support our athletes for national duties? Our athletes are the most important assets of the federation.
Situation.
For
Definitely
anybody
so.
don't know that, I'm going to say it one more time.
Yeah.
Our
Yeah.
athletes, the Jamaican athletes, the Jamaican track and field athletes, they are the most important asset under the federation.
Without the athletes, there's no need for a federation.
Uh, exactly. And this is why
Right.
the athletes are the most important asset of the federation, because
Yeah.
take the athletes out of them, we don't need a federation. If we
Mm-hmm.
did not have people competing, we would not have a federation.
Yes, sir. Right.
You understand? Sport is a business. Why at this stage of the game, Ozzy, in the
Mm-hmm.
21st century, we are not organizing, we're not planning, we're not controlling, we're not leading business like in the industry? What is the problem?
Wow. This
Ozzy,
I
you
think
know what the problem is, say it.
I think it will require a deep dive to really get well, where do I start? Um all right, for one of the things I see with track and field, I think everything is too centered around from a development perspective. It's primarily dependent on what happens in the high schools. Um, just looking at that aspect of it. Nothing is necessarily wrong with the high schools being involved as they are, but they probably need a bit more support, guidance from the association. Um, and also we may be losing people who are not in the formal high school system, um, and who have not yet are not good enough to be taken under the wings of a club. I mean, we may be missing out on some of those. So again, it's I agree with you that probably a overall comprehensive plan need to be drafted how we go forward with the sport.
Ozzy,
Hmm.
they are not using the boardroom. The boardroom is not being used. The boardroom is not being used. A boardroom is used for planning, organizing, and leading and controlling an organization. And it is
Hmm.
clear that our boardroom is not being used. I've been watching track and field for a long time now. And
Yeah.
it's not just now, this is happening. I've spoken to athletes who have told me this story over and over. One of the
Mm.
unfortunate problem I have observed is that organizations and people that lead in organizations cannot separate themselves from conflict of interest.
Mm. Mm.
Yeah, and I'm going to tell you as it is, they are not
Mhm.
able to separate themselves from conflict of interest. I mean, I've been asked many times, how can we fix the problem? Many ask me, how can we fix this problem? My thing is, first, we must accept that sport is a business.
Mhm.
We haven't yet.
Or we have an approach.
Yeah,
We
the
have we're not
approach that we
approaching it
have,
with that right. Yeah,
right,
doesn't show that right. I agree. I
right.
understand you're saying. Yeah.
So the first thing that we need to do is accept that sport is a business, is an athlete's career. You understand? The next thing, we need to have written, clear, and concise policies and procedures to govern the organization.
Mm.
The
All right.
next thing, go
Can I
ahead.
just interrupt you?
Sure.
Is it that? Well, I think that probably the organization is not even properly structured to achieve some of those goals that we have in mind. Probably what we need to do is look at the overall structure of the organization, revamp it, and then we start from there.
And
Um,
that is why we're looking at the
right, right,
fundamentals of
right,
management right now. You
right.
understand?
So
I'm
the whole
looking at it from a different
different.
perspective. I want us to look at it from the functions of management,
Mm-hmm.
managing an organization,
Sure.
where you plan, you understand, you plan, you
Mm-hmm.
organize, you lead, and you control.
Cool. Right.
Those are the four basic. Some people use evaluating instead of control, but whichever one, it works. And we are not doing that. And that is why I said we have to first accept that we are running a business, and then we have to write clear policies that govern the
For
organization and
organization. Right.
ensure that
That.
those policies and procedures are adhered to. So
Yes.
you're not going to break the rule because somebody is your friend or you are close. You are going to, and this is how you separate yourself from conflict of interest. The next thing that we need to do after we write the policies is install effective and efficient management and
Managers. Right.
managers with people who understand management functions. Find the right fit for each portfolio.
Right.
And I think that is what we are not doing. Find
Right.
the right person for the job. You have
For
a
the job.
thought?
Right. Right.
Yes.
No, no, I'm agreeing. I think probably one of the shortcomings of the association is the fact that, from my understanding, I think most of the positions are like voluntary. Or you could
But
just get
whether
a
it is
stipend. No, no,
voluntary or
right.
not,
True, I know.
yeah.
If you even if it's voluntary, you should operate in a professional manner.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just that probably we may not attract the best, the best of the best for the positions.
But
Because it's
how do we fix this problem? Because if okay, let's say if it's volunteerism,
mm,
if I cannot if I cannot paint
mhm,
and I come to you and say, okay, I want to volunteer to paint this wall, it doesn't make sense you give me the job to paint. It might as well you said to me, I know you're doing it for free, but you can't
right,
paint. So all you
agreed.
have to do is find the right fit that will do the job. And I
Right.
think that is where, when an organization fail, is because they
Mhm,
are not able to find the right fit
mhm,
to carry out the job of their mission statement. The next thing that they need to do is install people in position who recognize and understand that the athletes are the most important
important
asset
asset.
of the
Yep.
organization. Because I realize that our athletes are not treated as if they are important. You understand? We need to recognize the athletes are more important than anything else under the federation. The next thing is hold people
Accountable.
accountable. If you don't want to be held accountable for what you're doing, don't take up the job.
The
You
job.
are not a leader.
Right. Exactly.
If you're going to get into your feelings when I call you for a report on a
Hmm.
job, then this job is not for you.
Right.
And this
Agreed.
is why I keep saying we're not managing, because
Mhm.
there's no way if I employ you to do a job and I say, okay, Monday morning we have a meeting and I need a report from everyone as it relates to their portfolio. I want to know the status of
Of
where you are, and I
whatever.
need to know whatever. And if you are going to
Fundamental.
tell me, yeah, if you're going to tell me that, oh, you don't want to be a part of this meeting, and no, then
No, man. No.
you are going to lose that job. I can tell you, if you're working for
So
me,
it can be a part of the organization
if
then.
you are working for me,
Right.
I'm going to say, boy, you're not willing to do the job to make me look good. So here
Right.
what? We have to part ways.
You're not fulfilling your
But
duties and responsibilities.
People must understand that they are going to be held accountable for their portfolio.
Portfolio. Yep.
And I observe that we don't do that very well. We don't hold
Mm.
people responsible. The minute you want an answer from somebody or you speak out against somebody, people think that you're against them.
Mm.
It's a
People
job
taking
we're
things
doing.
personal, right?
Yeah, it's not
People
a
taking
personal thing,
personal.
it's a
Yeah,
job.
some people take criticism
The problem is
personal.
that a lot of us don't know how to compartmentalize. I can work with my best friend and get the best job done. I can work with somebody who don't like me. I'm not asking
And
you to
still,
like me.
right,
We
right.
are doing a job.
Job.
When we're finished with the job, I go about
We
my
go
business, go drink
separate
my red
ways.
wine, and you go about your business. You
Mm.
know? So
Mhm.
it is about, you have to let people understand that they are responsible for this job. So the other one is hold people accountable. The next one is when choosing people for respective portfolios, let them pitch a plan for their portfolio for 3 years or more. Pitch me a plan.
I have no issue with that.
Pitch me
Yeah,
a
yes.
plan.
Come, convince me that you are
Come
the person.
convince
Convince me
me
that you are the
why
person
I
for that.
need to give you this job.
But and again, no, again the structure of how
There's no
the
structure.
J3 right is the athletes that well not athletes, members of the J3 who vote for people in certain positions and all of that. So,
No, but and this is why I'm taking it
but
from the fundamentals of
mentals right,
management, so that these people
yeah,
understand that there are protocols to follow if you want your organization
so
to be successful.
successful
You
right and
understand?
grow and achieve you know full
Yes. Mhm.
um. Mhm.
You have to let people understand that, look, you answer to me. And whether you are my friend or not, you answer to me. And I'm going to need answers. But what I realize is that some people think that if I employ my friend, I cannot drop my friend when they are wrong.
Mm.
Not me, though.
Yeah.
Not me. If you're working
Uh,
for me as my friend, when we go in that
good
boardroom,
rule. Right.
it is about the work. When we come
Exactly,
out,
and so it should be.
and so it
You know,
should be.
should
And
be
this
right.
is what we're not doing. Get busy and get serious about the thing.
Mm.
The next thing is that I have been saying this for years, because I see where we continue to have problems, where the conflict of interest is becoming a problem. I have been saying this for years. The J3A, and I hope that somebody tell them, are they watching this video? I think they need to appoint independent coaches for national duties, especially for the relay. Especially for the relay.
Just elaborate.
Independent.
When you
And
say independent
when I
coaches,
say
I think I know what you mean, but just for the right.
okay, when I say appoint independent coaches for
Mm-hmm.
relays, what I'm saying is that coaches that you're assigning for national duties should not have any affiliation with, okay, somebody is
For
about
the
to join us.
for
Yeah.
the relays.
Charmaine is about to join us. Let us let her in to hear her thoughts. Hello, Charmaine. How are you?
Hi, I'm fine.
Okay, thank you for joining us. All right, bring down your camera a little bit more so I can see your pretty face. Good. There you go. There you
Right,
go.
right.
Charmaine, we were talking about oh, Aziz there. We were talking about
Hello, Charmaine.
Hi.
Mm.
the
Mm.
fundamentals of management, basically looking at planning, organizing, leading, and
Right.
controlling, right? Or, evaluated, whichever term you use. And some of the points that I've been sharing is that we must accept sport as a business. And the second one was we should have clear and concise policies and procedures to adhere to these rules. Your thoughts?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Um, Hi. Well, interesting topic. I was just watching the news not so long ago and noted the comments of the first vice president of the J3. And he has just basically reiterated that there are, well, the JHA will be looking at ways to put things in writing and to remove the ambiguity and the confusion as to what should, and therefore this whole discretionary thing about who runs and who doesn't. You know, they're gonna put some clarity to that. So
Good.
that is very
At
good.
least that,
And
at least that's a step.
Good.
yes,
Good.
and what was also instrumental was that Glenn Mills also spoke on the subject, not interfering or putting any comments because of his status, but I mean somebody with his seniority and his status in the sporting arena, putting a voice to that is important. We need to put the things in writing
In
and remove
writing.
and move. So, and they did speak to that particular situation that took place and there, and what Ian Forbes is the first vice president, and what he actually said, which I'm kind of mindful of, is, and I know is that the pool is so small to choose from, and therefore, because you don't have,
Yeah,
it's a small country, and therefore,
yeah,
but I
yeah.
still
That is something we
think.
have to. Yeah.
Right. But I still think that maybe what they can do is rotate the personnels, so because, I personally believe that perpetuating in any position creates inefficiency and all sorts of other complications. So that's just my thoughts on that.
Any thoughts, Ozzy?
Um. Well, I wish I'd seen that, but I like that at least they have acknowledged that everything is not hunky dory and that there is need for some
Right.
action. I mean, the thing is now is to see if they really put what was said into action. Um, I don't know. To me,
The thing is, you know,
I think it's simple, you know.
it is simple. It is
Yeah,
simple.
that's the thing.
It
That's the
is
thing.
simple as saying your ABC. All
BC,
you have to
yeah,
do, sit down. And I love to use the
yeah,
term boardroom. Use
yeah, you
up
know,
your boardroom. Have meetings with
yeah,
people.
yeah.
Put things in writing and make sure that it is clear,
Clear, and there's
crystal,
right,
and
right.
do
That
not adjust those rules to um to suit anyone. Make
that's
sure
it.
that the rules are followed.
Move the goalpost in the middle of the game.
Yes, don't change, because
Right.
the thing is that, and as I said earlier, Charmaine, I was saying to Ozzy and of course everyone, that one of the problem that I see that we have is that organizations don't know how to separate themselves from conflict of interest. I've seen it over and over where they put themselves in a position where conflict of interest might be a problem for them, and the worst thing is that they're not seeing it. They're not
Well,
able to see it. Why?
well,
Uh,
the most unfortunate thing about this is just that it has happened before, and it has happened before, and it has happened before. And therefore, I don't recall anyone ever came out and addressed it in the way they did this afternoon, at least in the media. And
uh,
so I'm hopeful. Um, but I think as Jamaican and generally our disposition is always everybody has a friend thing. It's like a chain. I'm connected to you, you're connected to me, and it doesn't matter whether or not we're going to be very unbiased about what we do. I put my friend in there because for whatever the reasons and thing. But like I said, I'm not to take anything away from Mr. Wilson. I think he's a very good coach and a very good person, and his experience, is vast. But I think that sometimes the J3 also have some very intelligent persons there, so they just need to do the job, and
And
hopefully we won't see this sort of thing on display
and
anymore.
that's what I was saying
right.
earlier. I said
That's it.
I don't have a problem with you giving or appointing a friend to do a job, but
Uh,
make sure or
sure that the friend
ensure
can do the
that
job.
that friend can do the
Do the
job
job,
and
and the
is
job is
doing the
done.
job. And if
Right.
that friend is not doing the job, then you have
Bye
to
bye.
go.
Bye bye. Simple. Simple.
Because if you're working for me and you and I are friends, and I said, look, this is your portfolio, and every Monday morning we are going to have a meeting, and I need an update on what is happening. And if you are going to treat your portfolio as if it's not important, I'm going to tell you, Charmaine, I'm going to tell you as your friend that we can't do this anymore. We can drink tea, we can drink wine, but
Yeah.
we cannot work together anymore, because you are putting my credibility
That's
on.
exactly where well, that's what I was gonna say. So even from a selfish perspective, looking out for themselves, if the friend is not doing what the friend is supposed to do, it gonna make you look like you not doing what you're supposed to do. So
But
even from
all
that
in all,
selfish perspective,
they need to manage, they need to plan, they need to organize, they need to lead, and they need to evaluate. And I think that's where the problem is. And when you write policies, make sure that they are clear and
yeah,
they are understood
and
by
can
everybody
right
involved
and can
And
stand up to the
complied
test of
with,
and
and can
because
complied with.
lots of organizational policies, but of
and
course
can
they
stand up to the
deviate
test
from
of
them.
time. Right.
So I don't think it's a question of not doing his job. I mean, he does a very good job. It's just that all the other little nuances that fall that come creep into doing that job, and that's what we have to stay away from.
Mm-hmm.
Clarity is very important and things. So I mean, I know Mr. Forbes. I mean, and I think that he's a good person and a fair person. And to hear his comments, I really look forward to greater clarity and greater expectation. They would have risen to people's expectation, you know, moving forward.
I will be watching them. And my thing is, it is not so much having independent coaches for the individual events, because
It's
the
more relates.
individual events,
Even
the athletes already choose
select themselves,
themselves, they have
right?
already selected themselves, so that is not
But
the problem. But the relay seem
right.
to be a big problem, and we are
Um.
losing out
So
because of
yeah.
all of this. I don't want to use the word nepotism or biased or conflict of interest. We just need to get those things out and do the job that is best for the country and not for self.
Yeah.
Because that
And
is what we appoint
just
them for.
a point
Yeah,
on
and not to
on
create, not to cause any unsettledness, because when you see that's one unsettledness among one person, you don't know who are the other persons that this,
But
the unsettledness
Charmaine,
impact.
this is not a new thing. I've heard it from a lot of athletes that competed for Jamaica from as far back as in the 80s,
yeah.
told me that they have been through situations like these. They're not, and the thing is that
But
when they speak out, they find a way to sideline them. Athletes have been left off teams because they speak out. And how dare you speak out against me? We have to stop that.
yeah.
Yeah, well,
One of the things we need to be mindful of, though, that there are athletes will always complain and feel that they should be part of a relay team when really and truly they're not good enough.
No, but
No, no,
Ozzy,
no, I understand where you're all going, but there's also that aspect of it. So, as
if
I,
you write the rules properly,
mhm.
athletes will understand.
Yeah, man,
If
even with the
you write,
rules,
if you have
when
to
they make,
make sure
mhm,
that those rules are proper, make sure that the policies and procedures are written
clear and clear,
properly. You start a
and
company,
yeah,
you come up with your company name. What's the next thing
mhm,
that you do? You start writing your policies and
policies,
procedures that you
or your
want your organizations
articles
to
of
be governed
right,
by. So
uh-huh,
everybody who comes into your organization is given a handbook that this
mhm,
is how we want the company to run. So at the end of the day, if the rule says, okay, the top three from the 100 and the 400 will be a part of the relay pool.
mhm.
The relay pool doesn't mean that you must run.
Exactly,
So you
and
have to make
and
it
that's where I'm going,
clear.
and that's where I'm going now.
but
That
I
some
think
that
that it's
when it comes to selection at final four within the guidelines, there are well not always, because sometimes it's just clearly obvious that the four is this and nobody else
The
even
top
stand a
four.
chance.
We continue
Right.
to use the top
Sometimes
four.
right. Sometimes we don't it and they are clear. They're better than ever. Like
And sometimes the top four is not the best fit.
No,
Exactly.
I think they
Agree.
spoke to that. They spoke to that. So the first three persons, and then the
Plus.
next three are dis- discretionary,
Mm-hmm.
right? So the first three persons are almost sure of a spot on the relay team. So the thing is just that, and nothing is, I wouldn't say nothing is wrong with the discretionary. It's just basically how you use it, because then
This, yeah,
you
yeah,
have to
right.
remove
This
it. That create the problem, the
problem. When it's a
discretion.
discretion, right? Discretionary
Yeah,
sort of look wide open.
that creates the
Right.
problem. Um, and then if you take if they take six persons, and the four, let's just say the first four, and in somewhere in the eats and that sort of thing, they use, like, I think in the 4x1 they did that to some extent. So I don't think that
But
there should have been any issue there, because clearly, if you came fifth and sixth, then you know that the level of discretion exercise to you,
But
you
what
should,
does discretion mean though? What does that mean?
that
Define
I,
what that means. And this is why it
that
goes
that's
back
that's that
to
well, that is why I'm
I think
saying that that's why
I
they
think
have
that's
to
what she's
rewrite the
saying.
rules now
Right.
to be
rewrite it
specific.
clear so nobody is confused at the end of the day or think that,
Yeah.
because this thing discretionary,
It
they
is too
can have a
wide. That's too
yeah,
wide.
they can have a
That's too wide.
problem with me, and
That's
because
too
I am
wide.
in the discretionary pool, I am not selected.
That's too wide.
And it may not be for that reason either. That's so you have to look
That's
on that. So
yeah.
it just may not be for that reason,
I,
because you may think that you want to run, and you may think that maybe you're in a position to run, but what if the other athletes are doing much better
performing
than you,
better.
or
Right.
right? So,
And this is why I
and
was saying that.
they would have had more run time. They have
Yeah.
been doing more meets and a circuit and that sort of thing. So there are lots of factors. So you have to look upon what qualifies the discretion.
You know,
Yeah.
I'm going to quote Taekwondo Tracy. He said that it's not that they chose to replace him, but how it was done. It's not what we do a lot of times, but how is the problem, and we can't say it enough. They need to write these things so clear, so and they need to give the athletes handbook. I don't know if they do it. We need to give the athletes need to have handbook, how the federation run, how we select the team, how we select coaches, or relay teams are selected. So if an athlete feel as if somebody overlooked them, they can go back to the handbook and say, okay, let me see what the rules state about relay. And when they read that, it should be clear enough that that athlete doesn't feel as if he or she
Mhm.
have been left off because they came fifth at the trials. Because really and truly,
You
I
see.
do not believe in the top four for relay, not at this stage of the game when people have
Um.
800-meter running 4x4 and hurdlers running 4x4, 200 people running 4x1.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because of how
We need
good they are, we have
right.
to start
We looking
looking
wider. We want the best.
wider,
We want the
the
best
best
fit
fit
for to maximize performance
to
of the
maximize our
foursome.
chances,
Right.
and not
Right.
just the best fit, but placing people where they are strongest.
You need an
every
optimum
time
performance. Right.
every time I look at how America set up their relay team, I'm like, wow, wow, wow. And it's not just no. When you look at how they set up their quarter mile relay team, their sprint relay team. I mean, they go to hurdlers, they go to middle distance runners, they go to 200-meter runners. They look at people's strength. They do something that you call SWOT analysis, and they choose people where they are strongest and they position them there. and this is
Yeah.
why and this is why many times they come out on top, and we can't hate them for it, because they
Yeah.
study the game and they learn it and they understand it and they know the weakness of their opponents.
Well, I'm glad you raised the point about the opponent, not necessarily the weakness, but the opponents. What I think is just that we lack that insight in terms of assessing our opponents. I don't think that we do that. I think we just look on our strengths and our powerhouse and how fast our athletes are, and
Mm-hmm.
not necessarily assessing the opponents. I don't think we
Hmm.
do that.
No, we
Um,
don't. I don't think so.
the other thing is that it's very interesting because I did know, because if you notice Gabby running the 4x1 and she's a 200-meter runner. So,
Prandini did it last year.
right,
But
Hmm.
she's
right.
better.
So,
Well,
um,
stronger eventually too.
that's very
But
instrumental.
use her in the turn. Use her where she's
And you
effective around the
use
bend.
people where they are, you use people where they are strongest. You see this thing about having your champion and anchor, your fastest
No,
person and
no,
anchor.
no, no.
No, we need to
Look,
learn. We need to
yeah.
apply some critical thinking and look deep into the thing and look at what is. You cannot put your
We just
best
need to take the
runner
relays
on the
very
street.
serious. Right. We just need to take the relays very serious and not take it for granted because we have all
All right.
these fast people, and that's
True,
really what this is.
true.
Because the
Um,
other countries, they're not just running and exchanging patterns, they are doing their critical thinking, they're dissecting this, they're looking, you know,
I,
at every handle.
I'm gonna make a suggestion. Not an origin. It is not an original thought.
Hmm.
Um, both the men and the women, the bulk of our athletes who more than likely will make the relay team are locally based. Even before the trials, even before the trials, we can start doing some relay practice. Um,
I
Actually, Steve Francis had made a proposal some years ago, and to me, it makes utmost sense.
Yeah.
You yes, okay, if come the trials and nobody make, okay, we have not lost out anything. It's just a matter of the relay coach, whoever he or she is, communicating with the top, let me say the top clubs then, and you come up, look, on day X we want to have some relay practice, and from there we can start to feel out and see who is best suited for what months in advance. We can take with that. April we can start doing some little thing.
Whatever happened to the Gibson relays?
I was just about to touch
Hmm?
that, but you go ahead, Charmaine.
No, I was just
Gibbs,
asking because,
hmm?
even from me, I'm younger and I was rubbing and running at the Gibsons for years. And I know in the last 10 years or so, even the numbers that attendance kind of scaled down.
Yeah,
But it came off my
the
radar, to be very
the
honest.
attendance. Gibbs is still there in full force, but yeah, you're right. The attendance seems to have fallen. I don't know if it's the
There
economics
is
or
a
what,
disconnect. There is a
but
disconnect
Because the
but
Gibson used to
between
be a big thing.
there is a disconnect between track and field Jamaica and the fans. There
um,
is a disconnect because when you look at most of the track meets, people are not going out anymore. Why is that? The organizers need to be doing more. Okay, we were talking earlier before you came, Charmaine, how World Athletics keep um adding or changing things at
tweaking,
championship. Yes, because they
tweak
want people to have a good experience.
experience.
And we noted some of the things that they did this time around. And I'm saying you cannot be having an event the same way every year. People are going to get tired of it and say, oh,
So,
it's the same thing happened last year. You need to evolve time, you need to change. I was saying to someone earlier, and I think I've said it on this program, that the Gibson relay, what I would do at the Gibson relay to create a buzz, I would pick our four top women because they all train in Jamaica now. Pick my four top women and say each one of you pick your team for the Gibson relay.
oh
So
yeah,
Sherry,
oh yeah.
Sherika would pick a team, Elaine would pick a team, um Shelly would pick a team, and let's who we can give another person to pick a team, whether Sasha Lee or Brianna, and let them pick a team. So we would have four senior teams. And you can even mix it with juniors. We have a
Right.
lot of junior athletes. We have Karika Hill. We have the Clayton Twins. We have Serena Cole. We have all these young ladies. We have Alana Reed. Pick
Hmm.
them on your team and turn up at the Gibson Relay and put on a big show. Do the same for the men. Pick the top four men and say, okay, each one of you pick a team. Pick
Well,
anybody
I
you
hope they
want
take
to
your
be.
advice.
Pick anybody you want to be on your team. So you have to, and this is why I keep saying to Ozzy, they are not using their boardroom. Them need a boardroom. They are not planning, they are not organizing, they are not leading, and they are not controlling or evaluating. So every year is the same script for everything.
Mm.
There's no tweaking. I mean, it's the same script, the same cast. Nothing different is happening. We have our own relay carnival, and every year, if it's not for the high school, if it is not for the
Yeah.
high school, we don't get a good treat.
Oh yeah.
Clubs.
The Gibson Relay should be one of the biggest track and field meet in Jamaica. We should have the entire Caribbean turning up at Gibson Relay.
But
We
But,
have to.
we used
we
to
have to put
have
some
teams
energy.
from
We have to put some more
Bahamas and
energy
all that
there.
coming up.
No, but we're
And
not talking about used to Aussie. We're talking about the
no, 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 no,
21st
no.
century. We're
No,
talking
no.
about
I
a
know.
new.
No, I'm just saying that in the past we had,
Yeah, we're
and
supposed to be
when we
going
had
further.
Right.
when we had the mutual life games, we used to
Mm-hmm.
have teams from a lot of college teams used to come down.
No, but I
So
thought that.
no, so it's not so it, we
I'm
have done
thinking
some of
that.
this before. It's just to
Yeah. And I'm thinking that
resuscitate
with
and
Yeah.
our
revitalize.
success,
Right,
with
right.
our success in the 21st century,
We
why are
should
we
not
not going forward?
exactly.
Why we're not going forward?
Yeah, yeah.
I don't know. I don't know. As I said before, them need to get into them brain. We need some people to start thinking. Them need to start thinking.
Oh,
They need to start managing, and we need to start holding people accountable. If you make a mistake, own it and let us move on.
Yeah,
Don't
yeah,
come
yeah.
with your ego and your
And
arrogance. No,
yeah,
come and say,
right.
boy,
Look,
I did this and I thought it would work, but let us see going forward. We need some people to sit down
exactly.
and study the opponent. You see, even that first round of the 4x1, somebody should have sat down immediately. Technical director should have called somebody and said, look here, study that tape they're filming with that team there. Look at who run where, look at the split where them run, and let us see how we can tweak our team and compete.
you know what? Maybe they should have like a group of athletes, who actually move around and come up like every 2 months or 3 months, every quarter, come up with some sort of proposal as to
Mhm.
how you can improve sport in Jamaica. So even like how you mentioned about the four top female athletes having their own relay team at Gibson, and the same thing for the men. They should have the athletes come up with some proposal, and then take that to the boardroom, dissect that, put it, integrate that into the whole plans and thing. Because when you think about it, I mean, we're just overwhelmed with talent, and
Indeed.
you talk Jamaican, you talk athletics, and people will fly from all over the world to come. So I think the J3,
Just
and
need to do the
I'm not sure
groundwork.
they have a marketing team, and their marketing team should be very robust in planning
Yeah.
and having all these events,
Yeah.
but do so with some sort of communication with some senior athletes, and hear the suggestions and see how best they want to integrate that into their own policies and thing, and make that happen.
It's simple. It's simply, I remember when I was studying, my professor, she used the entire class to design an operations manual for each sport in the university. And each one of us had to go to these games. Now, I don't know anything about. She said I wasn't going to do track and field because I already know track and field well. And she gave me field hockey to do. And let me tell you guys, I had to turn up to watch field hockey during the winter.
Gosh.
During the winter outside, I had to go with my notebook and I had to take notes. I had to know where them place the flag. I need to know where the line is. And
Everything.
we had to sit down and design. You know what they did? Them use
Mm.
us to design their operational manual for
Right,
games.
right.
And we had to hand over that to them, even though it's our work also. So they said,
Mm.
you guys can use it because it is also your work, but it is also the work of the university. So
That's
as
Oh
you
yes.
said, Charmaine, you can use people to ask people to help you develop your policies.
yeah.
If you don't have the people in-house to do it, call people and
Right.
said, look,
And
we want to develop some policies. How can you help us? We want to plan our events. How can you help us?
Right. And I agree. Given the success that track and field has had, I believe we would have a lot of willing people out here who would be ready to yes, I will help, I will assist once they're called upon.
I don't
Yeah.
know. I'm
You know,
annoyed and I want to see us taking this thing seriously. And as a track and field fanatic, me not gonna stop saying me need the J3s to do better because we can do better.
yeah, we
We
can do
we
better.
can do a lot better. We can look a
We can do
lot
better.
better and
Yeah.
we need to do it. And I want to see it. I want to see my sport evolve. And I am a fan. I have a right to speak. We can do better. I want to see us look better going forward. Write the policies and put the right people in the job. And if they can't do it, they're out. Next time this
So,
team ain't seen you,
Remember that the coach pool is not that large,
no,
no,
but
so they just
Charmin, no, but
rotate.
Charmin,
but
no,
even
but
with that, you know,
Charmin,
we can
Charmin,
still
the
we
coach
can still.
pool can be very big. We have
Hmm?
a lot of coaches around the countries. We have high school coaches. When I look at America's rule, how you can apply for head coach or coaches for national duties, you can either be a high school coach, you can be a coach as aligned with a club, or you can be a colleague who is a coach. I'm thinking they're talking about retired athletes. We have a lot of retired athletes who are in coaching. Karen Stewart is in coaching. Lacina Golden Clark, Davian Clark, Aileen Bailey, Ines Turner. We have so many athletes out there who are coaching and helping other countries.
Mm.
Set up a system when we have national duties. People apply in advance and you go through those applications, look at their credentials, and then you start selecting who you want. And my thing is, I mean, not stop saying, select coaches for relay who are independent of the athletes. They do not coach these athletes. And we can do that because we have good high school coaches. If they are not certified, help them to become certified for national duties. If you go to the championship this year and you don't do your job what you fit do properly, next season you're out. It's a different coach going until people recognize that is not an annual thing for them.
It's not a
Well, I
trip.
think after they've rewritten the rules, maybe we won't be having this discussion.
It's not a trip. But
I hope not. I hope not. I'm very
I
passionate
say
about this. It has been going on for a while, and too many times our athletes suffer because we make decisions based on how we feel and not based on
what is
protocol
best and what is best
or whatever is best for
best
the
for the
country. And we need to start getting it right because too many other countries are get it right. Jamaica is a powerhouse in track and field. We constantly finish on the medal table
of the top in the top four
in the
or so.
top four or top two or top
Yeah, or two,
whatever.
four. Yeah.
But we're consistent,
We
across all.
are.
We're consistent to all discipline, because the football team had the same issue, the cricket, the West Indies team. So it could be like, so we have
It's
to
a
correct it.
Listen,
yeah.
and this is why guys, I try to take it from a management perspective. People need to understand what management requires. When you're a leader, what is expected of you? You have to right. Even God wrote policies and procedures how we supposed to live. The 10 Commandments is how we supposed to live. So once you deal with people, you have to put something in writing so you get everybody to be on the same path. Because if you don't do that, people are going to think that, okay, my way is the best way. No, my way is the best way. And we have confusion. Put it in writing and ensure that people follow. And that
Yeah.
is what I have to say. Ozzy, what is your closing? Because may I get upset?
It has all been said. Well, nothing further to add. I mean, I think we've covered a fair bit here with as far as taking track and field to the next level. There yes, we have had successes, but it's obvious that we can definitely do better than we have been doing. We just need to have the will, and we just attack this thing with a mindset that look, we have to do better. You know, simple. To me, I think it's simple, but it's simple to say, but to actually put into effect, I don't think it's that difficult. It's just that people have the will. So look, we all want to get, and we do the right. We're going to do the right thing to get the sport to the next level.
And we can do it.
We can do it. We can do it.
Charmaine?
We can
Um,
do it.
I'm hopeful and I'm looking forward to what will happen. The mere fact that they addressed it or they're like that, and I know from experience in past times they've just like
Sweet
push it under
salad.
the carpet or
Mm-hmm.
dismiss it or think that maybe the athlete was being mischievous or something like. They were very professional about their responses tonight in the media, and therefore I remain hopeful and that they will address it and that we will look forward to better days or some event we don't have this as a distraction to all the excellent I mean performances. So I'm just remaining hopeful. I'm remaining hopeful and I'm hoping that we'll continue to agitate for
Right.
best practices
Right.
and we will follow and keep this up.
Uh,
Yeah, and
Hopefully.
keep and monitor and ask, ask that ask for an update as to where this is. So we'll
Yeah.
continue. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
we go ahead, Ozzy. Go ahead.
as you mentioned, answer an update. I mean, the J3 has a website that to me it's just
It needs work. It need work.
it's a disappointment. I mean, they redid it. The grammar right? Well, it was redone um a couple months ago, but it still falls short of what
Mm-hmm.
Jamaica as um Athletic Association should have as a
Yeah.
functional website. We
Yeah.
need to do better than that, man. And through that, we can use that medium to a lot of information for the fans. The fans need information. The athletes themselves, they need help in a lot of areas. Because I am sometimes disappointed when I hear some athletes talk about the sport that is their livelihood. Even through that, just put in some information on the website. For
The
them.
sport the
So
sport need an organizational chart. They need a chart. And the J3s need to understand that they are you have the Ministry of Sport, yes. And but the J3A is their job is really to develop the sport in
sport,
Jamaica. And
right,
you know, I'm not even going to say the JOA because the JOA is really about the Olympics and promoting the
right,
Olympics
and
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 getting
and
people
they cover a lot of
right.
sports.
But in
They assist a
terms
lot of sports.
right, but in terms of track and field, it is the J3A, and they need
Right,
to really understand that they're at the head of the organization. Below that, you have the different clubs and all of that, and they just need to understand that they have to lead from the front. They have to, I don't know, they just need to lead from the front and they need to make some informed decisions and they need to start now. They need to start with the policy, start writing.
no,
Now is
yeah,
the
cause
time to start outlining everything on paper. So by next year, when we draw for these rules or when the athletes look at the rules, they are very much clear that look, not because you
so
run in the 100 meters, it means that you are going to run in the relay. They need some little fine print where said, even though you're selected for the relay pool, it is not guaranteed that
that
you
you
will
will
run.
run, right,
You understand?
right,
Because if we are going to choose based on strength, we have to look at best curve runners. We have to look at
exactly,
people them with the best top
exactly,
end speed. We have to look
exactly.
at the people them who can run the longer leg. We have to look at all of
Yes,
those
right.
things and
That's
place
that's how we need to
people.
approach it.
That's how we
Exactly,
need to approach it.
that
We need to
exactly.
break it down, as Charmaine said, dissect and look at where people
Simple
strongest and
and
put
and
them there.
then
You
they're
cannot put
simple.
You cannot
Simple.
put someone who is not a good curve runner to run against one of the best curve runner in the world. No.
Um, I, you know,
So
I was
they need to do their SWOT analysis and get it right, because we can get it right because we have a lot of
and
people,
and
and we're
curve.
going to have this discussion again. We're not done yet, but for tonight.
And Paris is a year away. Project Paris supposed to start
Yes,
today.
no, no,
Today,
no.
today,
Yes,
today,
I love how
today,
you put it.
today,
I love how you
today,
put it.
today.
Project Paris. I love how
Paris.
you put it. Yeah, yeah.
Project Paris enough medal
Yes.
supposed to start
That
today.
campaign supposed to
Right.
start. No, after what
Today.
happened, they
Yeah, to
need to
start
sit down
today.
and say, all right, we need to get
And
this thing right.
right.
Need to get it to look a little better. So, guys, thank you very much for being here for this
Okay.
heated discussion. And Charmaine, thank you very much, as always, for
You're
stopping
welcome.
by
Bye.
Yes.
and sharing and, just learning from each other. And we want to help the sport.
Yeah,
We're not
exactly.
bashing,
Exactly.
we're not
Exactly.
trashing,
No, 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 no.
we're here
Yeah.
to help
Right.
because we want to do better, because we can do better. And thank you guys very much for being here. Thank you everyone who is on the
You're
live.
Okay.
Sandy,
welcome.
everyone, thank you
No.
very much. And we will be watching, guys. Thank you very much. Good night, good morning,
Good
good
night.
afternoon, wherever you are.
Right.
Have a great, great weekend. Thank you.
I'm going to
Thank
try and
you.
get
Bye.
some feedback from my colleagues, if at all they did watch and what they thought of it, and so
Yes, yes, that would be
and
good.
I'll maybe just send the comments to you, in
Okay,
my WhatsApp or whatever.
no
Hopefully
problem.
they'll
Okay.
respond. All right, so one of my brethren, oh yeah, I'm just say something. All
Thank you
right,
guys very
I'll
much.
get
All
some
right.
comments here. Okay then,
Okay.
bye
All right.
bye.
Bye.
Bye, guys.
Right.
Thanks. Thank you guys for being here. Thank you once more. That was a heated discussion. Kino. Blessings, Kino. Sandy British, big up yourself. Thank you for being here. Nadine Barif. Is that Nia Shea or Naya Shea? Forgive me if I don't get your name, the pronunciation correctly. Donnet, thank you for being here. Marlene Green, Winston Willocks, Latoya, Xavian, everybody for being here. Thank you very much for being here, guys. Thank you very much. And of course, we will be watching this matter closely. Thank you very much. Good night.